All right, she's a runner, she's a driver. Now we need to start on making it more better. And plan A is we got to get the wheels off. And what we're gonna have to do is get these wheels off where they move, and then probably stick them back on temporary so we can get the wheels off of the steel wheel tractor, and then flip-flop, because I don't want stuff just sitting on the ground. So that's what we're gonna do right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. This here is the Oliver 70 that was, let's see, I'm filming this on a Saturday, and I got it running yesterday, and I brought it home on Monday. So just about 5 days later, we're running and driving. And what am I trying to say? Wheels. We tried the other one up there with limited success, which we'll revisit that later. But I'm gonna try this one, you know, because we haven't done that yet. So we'll get this loose. I got my puller ready to go. We'll set it back up. We'll probably heat. We'll probably beat. We'll probably cry, question our life choices, be sad. I mean, there's no end to the things that we can be. So that's what we'll get started on right now. I was distracted. Earlier today, I worked on this. I didn't film it. But if you recall, the little Cushman was getting kind of a bow in the middle to where the steering wheel was practically in my lap when driving it. And now, it's much more better. Level, but I had to do a lot of frame reconstruction. And I don't know if I can show. I just used scrap that I had around to make it better, but can we show this? Right there at that joint, it was broken too, and that consequently is right where the motor mounts are. So I welded it up. Actually, what I did was I picked it up with the loader, and then I set the back half down on something that made it stick up in the air like this, so the front half was hanging in the air. And then I cut a little bit out of the frame on each side, and then forced her down, overlapped it, welded it, and then I found long pieces of whatever kind of trash I had, bolted it through the 2 motor mount bolts, and then welded it along the way to give it some rigidity. And boy, did that make a difference. It is much more solid now. It doesn't ever scratch the ground like it was doing almost continuously. And probably for a long time in its history, it was doing that, and the guy just kept using it. But she's nice and level again, see? And that's what we're after. This side I had to use a slightly different method piece. The same type of idea, but it's a different kind of piece of metal because I didn't have exactly the same thing. And this side we have our fuel tank and hydraulic tank. So I had to make that go. But much, much handier this way. And I love this little thing. When I put it back the way it was, it shifts perfect now. The clutch works like it's supposed to. All the stuff that was not working great works great now. The only casualty in it was the muffler is no longer with us, so now it sounds like a motorcycle. But that's fine. It's kind of cool. Yeah. So that project is a win. We'll get a lot of use out of that. Back to the tractor. All right, step 1, take wheel back off. Yes, isn't that fantastic? We just put them on and now we're taking them off. Consequently, I looked up in the parts book how to change front ends. There's 7 bolts that hold it together. And I bet you, if I don't have to pull the motor, I very at much least have to pull the radiator off, because there are, I believe, holes in the frame down, like access holes, but I don't know. Seems like an awful lot of work to me. Why did I put these all back in? I guess I didn't lose them. All right. How hard will this come off now? It shouldn't come off hard at all because we just had it off. There. Aren't these impacts amazing? What they can do? Get those knocked out of there. Why is everything solid? I mean, it's almost like it's rusty or something. In theory, it ought to go. Aha, you're right in the action. How's that? It's almost like they knew people would be driving on these. I'm wondering the other day if not taking these out is what got us. Because based on that, I could see how it would help grip it tight. We'll find out here in a minute. We don't know that this is going to stay on this rig that I have it on, but we're gonna try. Well, quit that. Stop. Jeez. Let's get that lock washer off of there. All right, when you're dealing with something like this, it's a very delicate extraction process, and you can't get it good. You got to get out a special tool, and it should come right out. Extract it. Sure. Right now, a piece of oil film basically is what's holding the tractor up off the ground. Look at that. It's like new. Perfect. All right. Now, we've been soaking these again and again. Oh, cool. We actually busted this hub too. It busted out around the bolt hole. So ain't that cool? Let's go get a giant chisel and wedge in there. Now that they're both garbage, we might as well just beat the... All right, I've heat, I've beat, I'm over it. So now it's time to use the puller. This is not an exact science, but I have had some success with this rig that I built. The hardest part is keeping everything square and then staying back so that when the explosion happens, you're not close by. All right, it would probably be wise to do a few things. Number one, move the explosive tanks away from the blast zone. Number two, get a longer bar so you can stay away, hopefully. Plus, it's going to bend our cheap handle anyway. Nope. Time to reset. Didn't work. That happens. That is one of the fallbacks of this design. I wish I could figure out a way to make it better, but there just ain't, to my notion. Like I said, you got to get it exactly right. And I apparently did not do that thing. I need a better design. I haven't, this was a hastily put together rig. And it kind of works, but you kind of got a lot of precise tuning to do. Of course, now that I want it to, it won't. But see, normally the handyman jack wouldn't be trapped in there either. That ain't gonna work. Come on. There's a good bull or bite. If I can keep up the momentum. Danger. We're getting up into the tonnage now. We're bending the grade 8 bolts, and when that one snaps, it's going to sling it out. That bolt's going to fail. Man! It's under a good amount of tension right now, friends. Yeah, my puller's starting to bend. Tempted to just leave it sit overnight like this under tension, as sometimes that does make the difference and it will go. I'm also tempted to hit on it with a sledgehammer, which we know from experience is going to do nothing other than bust a hub. Jeez. Maybe it will be an Easter miracle. And when we come back in the morning, the hub will be laying on the ground. Sometimes stuff like that happens when you leave it like this. Sometimes the tractor's on the ground and sadness happens. See, it would be no big deal to just cut those off of there, but then what? You know, we got to get the steel wheels off too. So we're going to have to do this. What I'm going to have to do is refine my rig for this. I'm going to have to drill more precise bolt holes so that it centers it up better. And then I think I actually have those pieces upside down, because if you would have them the other way, what I mean, those back clamping things, then I think I had where I could have 2 holes line up and it would all work. So that's my bad. I put it together wrong a second time. But I'm pretty sure that's how it was. So if a guy would do that, he'd have her made, you know? There's your blaster you all want me to use so much. It's helping, isn't it? So, why did I make it this way? Well, as you saw in our previous engagement, if I had made a puller that bolted to the bolt holes of the wheel, I would destroy it. You can't really pull on that flange or sadness will happen. You have to pull behind it. And I've had about a 50% success rate on these. But so far, this one is breaking my odds pretty good. So I don't know what we'll do. The next trick, I guess, if I turn those around and use 4 bolts instead of 2, and I can't get it, then the next trick is going to be 2 torches and try to get that thing just absolutely glowing. And I you know, that can be done. I got the service truck and I got this other set, so I can be two-handing it the whole time and see if I can get it. But this is part of it that I do not enjoy. I wish I could get these easy, but there just ain't no way to do that on a splined axle. All right, so I got that flipped around. I'm gonna leave it sit like this under tension. And what I'm gonna have to do is buy some new of the rosebud heating tips for my torch. I'm woefully out of all the different attachments. That's why I just always use the cutting torch, but I can get a tip. I'll probably just get 2 so I can use both sets if I have to make that just practically glowing. And then hopefully it will come off of there, because these I don't care about so much, but the steel wheels have to come off intact. So, and this puller doesn't work just excellent on those, because there's no good way to get it on there evenly. So yeah, we'll just see how this goes, and this is probably where we'll call this one. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.